it can be quite scary. And I think what holds us back mostly is, you know what, if I go and then my team knows that I have gone to report, you know, how will they take it and how will they work with me after that? You know, there are people watching from the shadows who are motivated and inspired by what we do without you knowing it. For me, I wasn't doing it to inspire anyone or motivate anyone. I was just tired, you know, of these people not supporting me and blaming me. You know, treating people like people. That's just how I look at it. Treating people like people. People know. I always make people laugh. That, you know what? You know, I'm your boss. I don't have to tell you. You know.
Welcome to this podcast where you're going to learn the strategies, the tactics, and also gain the confidence to speak your mind unapologetically at work and in your career so that you can get ahead faster, you can have more impact, be a better leader, and be respected as yourself authentically. And I'll be your host, Ivna Curry. I'm the CEO and founder of AssertiveWay.com, INSEAD MBA, and a Forbes contributor. Now let's get started. Hi, Joy. Great to have you here today. I'm delighted that you had the opportunity to come by and share your story with us.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to motivate and inspire the women out there because I know definitely they're really facing challenges, and I'll be happy to share my story.
Yeah, so you are an engineer. Tell me a little bit about your career choice and how did it happen?
Well, for me, I've always loved building things. You know, just, I remember when we were younger, we used to build toy cars using wires, you know, and it will be complete with all the driving wheel and we could push it around. You know, that was in our home with my brothers. And we will also just use some cardboard boxes or just to make TV sets, you know, just being innovative. So I've always just loved making things. And also my father, he's a scientist. He also was just a technical person. I loved also visiting his workplace. And I remember at A-level, I was attached to his workplace. I wanted to go to the engineering department. I wanted to see what they do. And I remember his friends, you know, going, you know what, why are you letting this girl suffer in the engineering department? Because we'd be given these overalls and these heavy boots, you know, that had lead in them for protection. So the first days I remember dragging my feet. I just couldn't lift my legs. But I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed working with the guys. I enjoyed them working on, because it was food industry. So they had these blowers that were used to blow milk, to dry it up and things like that. So when there's a breakdown, you know, they're the guys who are on the job. And, you know, it feels also important, you know, so I loved, I loved being a part of the solution. So when later on we had to choose subjects, you know, for A-level, which would lead for us to go to university, you know, I said, you know what, I want to do subjects where I will be able to take up engineering at university. So my teachers, they said, okay, if you want to do engineering, then you need to do maths, physics, and chemistry. So that's how I found myself in those classes. They were not easy, but I had to push and I enjoyed it all the way. And then I found myself at university doing engineering.
What type of engineer are you?
Now, that's another interesting one. Unfortunately, during our time, there were no this career guidance, you know, where someone will tell you, okay, there's civil engineering, there's electrical engineering, there's mechanical, and what it is all about. So I had to move from faculty to faculty, you know, just getting a feel of the environment, you know, of the faculty. I remember going to the electrical department. I was like, there was nothing to see or touch, you know, and I was like, what is this all about? You know, so it's about electricity and wires. I was like, no ways. This is not for me. And I remember also going to the mechanical department, a lot of gears, a lot of pulleys, and it's like, no, I don't want this. And going to the civil engineering department, I remember I saw models on bridges, there were roads, there were houses, and I was like, you know what, I think this is what I want to do, because for me, it was more like, it was familiar. I lived in a house, I was on the road. So I felt if I was able to provide those things, then definitely, that would be my contribution also to the community. So that found me in the engineering department, civil engineering for the next 4 years.
So you basically you stepped into the different divisions in your university. And did you talk to somebody, or did you just go to like the labs or something?
No, the good part was there was someone, a technician who was around. I think they put them specifically for students who wanted to know more about the faculty or about the department. Yeah, so there was someone there. So you'd ask them, what do you do here? What is electrical? What is this? So at least, yeah, there was someone to answer the questions. And from my intuition, my sixth sense, just said, I don't think I would enjoy this. And then I'd move on. I'd go around the same questions until I just felt, I think I was more at home in the civil engineering department.
So this was so when you applied, you didn't already have to know what degree you wanted, which type of engineering.
No.
You had to decide afterwards once you were in the school.
Yeah.
I see. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, you did way more research than I did. I can tell you, I did zero research. I'm not even sure how I decided to go with the electrons, like the electricity, the electrical engineering, but little circuits. But that's interesting. So you were more proactive in figuring out what you wanted. I love that.
Yeah, I wanted something that I would really enjoy, because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be waking up every day and like, you know what, I just hate this. So at least I wanted to minimize the risk.
Minimize the risk.
Of ending up having to do something which I didn't like.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how I asked you this before. At some point you transition. This is a point where a lot of people struggle, the transition from individual contributor to a line manager, where they're managing people for the first time. It's a struggle to get that role, and it's a struggle to be successful in the role for the first time, because the skill set's so different. So how did you get your first people manager role?
I had been a manager all along, but I didn't know it, or I didn't see it, because I think the problem we have is when you're at work, you might have a boss who is above you, but in your role, if you are in charge of maybe 2-3 people, you are managing them. So for me, I was in charge of the water and sanitation department. I had my boss who was the engineer for that department, but the plumbers, the mechanical technicians, I was in charge of them, because wherever there was a problem, I would be responsible to make sure they do the work, and the work is to the quality that we want as a local authority. And then we make sure that everything is restored to how it is. People now get water. So I think the issue is about knowing that you are a manager in your own sense, and having that confidence, being confident that, you know what, I can lead people. Because I think when we talk of being a manager, you think something huge, you just something overwhelming, you think of the whole company, but you are managing, those 2 people, those 3 people. So if you can make them do work, if you can plan for them to execute whatever you want executed in the way you want it done, you are managing them. So what I did was I just got the confidence, and I also was now bored. I wanted something bigger. I was like, you know what, I've been managing this group of people for, I think it was 2 years. So I was like, you know what, I need more challenges, where I need to make more decisions like my boss, you see. So an opportunity arose where now they wanted a departmental head, in another town. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going for it. Let me just apply. I wasn't sure I would get it, because also years of experience. I think I was now on 3 and they wanted 5. But I just said, my motto in anything, like especially in the jobs, I tell myself that, you know what, As long as it doesn't get me arrested, I'll do it.
I love that motto. I love that motto.
Because there's no way. Yeah. If I send my CV, if I don't qualify, the worst they can do is just throw it in the bin. They're not going to come after me and just drag me to prison or whatever. So I just went for it. I applied. They called me for the interview. I was like, okay, that's a start. But I was also scared that, what, will I make it? But I think, well, they asked you obviously managerial questions. If one of they want to establish if you're a team player as well. If one of your colleagues does this, what will you do? Things. So it was things which I was also doing every day, although on a low scale. So after a while, I was called. I got the job, and I was happy, but I was scared because now, because now I was heading a whole department. Yeah, it was scary. But also the other thing for me, the advantage was that I had a very supportive boss. So and I think he knew that I was a new manager, that this was my first really big managerial position. So he was very supportive. Whatever I wanted to do, I would bounce it off him if I was really not sure. And he would direct me in the right way, how to do it, how to discipline. No, now I would discipline people. I would have to employ people, something which I never did before. So yeah, it was a whole new level. But my boss was really, really supportive. And with time, I gained the confidence, that, yeah, you know what, I can really do this. And with confidence also came the command, because people, when you're confident, and they can see it. They can see it and they respond to it. If you're not sure, people being people, they want to take advantage of that. They want to twist you around, lie, squeeze their way out of certain things. But when you're confident, when you show you know what you're doing and what you're saying, then you can get things done. But it was more of the support and the confidence that I felt later.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions from that answer. So the first one is, did you know that the person that was recruiting you, that you were applying, the position that you were applying for, did anyone know you already?
No. This was actually just this was a new town. It was a new board that was doing the interviews. So I didn't know anyone in that town. It was a completely new town.
New town. Okay, so you're like, okay, new town, new position. So it's head of department. And I'm like, I'm doing this thing.
I'm going for it.
And I'm not going to be in prison for this. And then you thought, and then you probably brought your confidence with you, because probably otherwise they would not have hired you. So yeah. You must have been, did you fake the confidence, or did you actually feel confident in the interview?
I actually felt it, when I go for interviews, when I always tell people, and I've always felt that, and I've always noticed a trend that if I'm invited for an interview, most likely if I'll make it in the top two, so I remember I met this guy. I met him actually over the years. I think I met him at one interview, and then I met him some years later, and he was like, you know what, when I see you, I just know that I'm in for a run for this job. And I told him, yeah, you are. And I definitely got the job again on that second time. So sorry for him, but that's just me. When you invite me for an interview, I really prepare. I read around because I feel with what brings about the confidence is knowing what your role is, what you're expected to do, and knowing the field. So
how did you do your research? Was it with books, or did you talk to people, or how did you do your research?
Mostly for me, I talked to people that, if you're heading a department, what does it entail?
Oh, really?
What am I supposed to do? And then there was not much of internet.
Nobody does know that.
You didn't hear that. So it was mostly talking to people, how, and also just asking if there was really something that I didn't really know. I would ask my boss about the job, because I knew that whatever maybe I would be asked could be maybe at his level, So yeah, so I'd make sure that, I chat to him. If this happens, what did you do? Why do you do this? So I was ready. I was ready. So I think it showed also in the interview that,
That's
I think,
interesting.
yeah, I'm ready for this challenge. So it's about preparation. If you're not prepared, I'm telling you, you'll be scared and you'll be shaking, because you're like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But if you've done a bit of work, yeah, at least you have a starting point, and you're more confident, with whatever they're going to present.
But what I like about what you said is I know a lot of people that prepare by trying to read their way to the answers and box themselves in. But you went outwards. You looked for people that were at that level that you wanted to be in, and you asked them questions about how they would deal with certain situations, even your boss. Now, did your boss know that you were applying for a different position? No. You were great. You were strategic. So you probably found the right way to ask these questions.
Just general, just...
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. So you got the job and you're like, okay, how many people were there initially?
I was in charge of, let's see, 10, 20, 30, about 50.
Oh, wow.
Because, about 50, because now I was looking at different, like plumbers, electricians, mechanical guys, like the whole engineering department, drivers, the whole lot.
So from 3, 4 to 50. And I'm guessing the majority of them were men.
Yep. And actually, when I'm looking at most of, all. Yeah. The ladies that I had were like casual workers, mostly working on the roads, or maybe assistants to plumbers. And those were just a few, 1 or 2. Yeah, but most the directors and whatever, those were men.
Okay, so how did that go? So go back to your day one, your week 1, and you're telling these dudes what to do. And they're like, this woman is my boss now. How did that go? And you were probably young as well.
From way back, my strategy is, when I'm coming in, I don't coming in with I know this kind of attitude. I just come in cool, like, okay, morning. And the funny part, and what I love, is that people, I don't know, always expect, when they hear that it's a lady and it's an engineer, they always expect a big person, I remember this other woman, they were from the community. So they had a problem with their sewer pipes, which were blocked for a long time. So, with them, people would lie, okay, we're coming tomorrow or whatever, so they came to my office, to lodge a complaint and to demonstrate, something like that. So I said, you know what? I told my PA, I said, oh, no, what you do, pick the most vocal women. I want only 3 of them to enter, because they were a group, a mob, So I said, you know what? I need 3 women to enter, and then I'll talk to them. So she went out. So we know that you can get the job done. You can really hammer home what you're fighting about. And I didn't know what it was all about, but then I was really calm. Oh, welcome. I refuse, sit down. What is the problem? So they started talking all this. We've had this for years, and the local authority has been lying. They have not done anything. I said, okay, let's go to the site. Let's go. I want to go and see the problem. So I went with these women, and before long, we're just there, plucking peaches and eating, on site whilst we were discussing. And, they opened up and said, you know what? When we entered that office, we were expecting to see some big man, they're sitting there, and we were prepared for war. We wanted just to take him down. So when we saw, like, what? This child is the engineer? I was like, why? Says, you're just a child. Oh, well, I was younger back then. You were just a child. But I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm the engineer. But I said, but you see me driving around town with a company, a van. So yeah, but we thought it was your mother's van. I said, no, it's me. So it is about how you react to people, what you exude. So you don't go in with the I know it all. You go in to say, okay, yeah, I'm in charge, but what have you been doing before? Let them show you what they've been doing. Let them lead the way. So I'm there. They're showing me how we do this, we do this, we do this. Great. Who is in charge of this? Where is this? And I'm learning. In that time, learning this because systems are different, whatever company that you go to. So I'm learning. And then after a while, if there are things that I want changed, then I can find a way, okay, to say, you know what do you think? I'm thinking if we do it this way, it's more efficient. Or you know what, we can reduce time or cost or whatever, and then people have the buy-in, because the minute you want to thrust things on people, because remember, you're coming in, you're the newbie. So they're like, this new person wants to come and tell us what to do things differently, what we've been doing for 40 years. Then there's resistance. So you have to work your way. So I didn't have any problems. And I think maybe the experience of working, because I've worked with elderly people, because in councils you get men who are almost retiring. They are your father, yeah, they're your father. So you have to strike the balance between the boss and giving them that respect. Yeah. So once they buy into, that, what, this young girl is here, she wants us to do work, she's according us the respect that we know what we're doing. Oh, they'll do anything for you. I remember, just we would be out repairing a pipe the whole night. No one would go to bed because they appreciated the urgency. And you tell them, guys, I'm in hot soup. I need this pipe repaired. If I go back without water entering the town, I'm done for. And they would be there. They would be there the whole night. I remember at one point went to sleep. I think it was 3 a.m. Everyone just staggered to their different places to sleep, but the job had been done. So it is that, just, treating people like people. That's just how I look at it. Treating people like people. People know, I always make people laugh that, what, I'm your boss. I don't have to tell you. Unless there's something wrong with you, but you really know I'm your boss. So I don't have to rub it in. I don't have to tell you. And then you involve them in decisions, in what you need done. And just that whole team thing, that we're a team. I'm just here to lead, to guide and take the responsibility when you mess up. So yeah, when they appreciate that, then, they will really, they'll really be there for you.
So it seems like you, from day one, you did two things. You acted like a boss and to the team, and at the same time, you were very respectful and thoughtful and treated them as people and respected them. So those two things.
Yeah, that's really important.
Interesting. Okay. And are you as joyful as you are here with me and as your name suggests when you're at work?
It depends with the audience.
It varies.
I'm quite I'm someone who is easy to get along with, but like I've said, that I gauge the audience, and because there's some people, when you get joyful with them, then they tend to go overboard. Yeah. So unfortunately, there has to be that balance. So sometimes if I feel that this audience really, I don't have to go that extra mile because of one or two things that could really come in between the working relationship, then I'm just business-like. Yeah. Okay. I'm not harsh, but I'm not as joyful. And then, of course, there's a team. I think it also depends. There's also a team, maybe at managerial level, that know you as being joyful, but they know that when it comes to getting things done, you want it done, the way you've said it should be done and when, so at that level, then we can chat, we can laugh, and then they know that, yeah, it's working time. And and then they also see that, okay, things have changed, the face has changed. Okay, guys, back to work. And then and then we do work. So yeah, I'm it's difficult for me to remove the joyful part, but if I need to, because that's me. Yeah, that's me. But I always do things to suit the environment. If I see that by being joyful, I think I'm being misinterpreted here, then of course I bring out my business face. and then, and then, and then, and then I'm just like, okay, let's do what we have to do, and then I'm out of there.
You're out of there. I like that. So yeah, you modify slightly if you feel like the situation needs. So did you ever have a significant conflict with someone in your team or a peer or someone above you that you would, it's worth mentioning, and how did you deal with it? Like a significant moment that was a little bit tense for you, and you had to really think about how you would deal with it.
Yeah. I remember at one of my workplaces where, for me, I believe that let's get things done. If we have to do this, we have to do it. So unfortunately, sometimes you can get also people in management that don't see other things as important. I'll give you an example where I was in charge of the engineering department. Actually, it was, my first managerial job. So I was in charge of engineering, and engineering, it also included refuse collection. It included making sure people get water, people get sewage that's treated, things like that. So in the same team of managers, there were people who, if there were 20 liters of diesel, they would rather have that 20 liters go into their private cars so that in the night they can go clubbing, they can go drinking, And then when you mention that, okay, guys, from the 20, can I have 10 liters at least so that I can collect refuse? No one wants to listen. No one wants to give you that fuel. I ended up clashing with it was also some managers at my level, and then the boss, because the boss also was the same crew with these other guys. So it up to a point where after a while, I really had to seek the intervention of the minister. I had to seek of the minister who was in charge of the local authorities to say, you know what, this is what is happening here. I can't work. And I'm just sorry. Otherwise, it's either we sort this out or I'm leaving. So yeah, he came in, sorted things out. Some of the guys who were there actually were removed from that local authority. And yeah, then it was business as usual. So yeah, it's not easy, especially when there's the conflict. It's not easy. You need to. I remember also me saying, you know what, I was telling my mother that, you know what, I'm just tired of this nonsense. For me, I'm going. I'm leaving because I know I'm an engineer. I can get another engineering job somewhere else. But my mother was like, you know what, it's not about running away. If you run away, then what? These guys will continue doing the same thing. Another person comes, they do the same thing. You need to make an example. So I said, okay. So I stayed and decided to sort it out. And yeah, I did.
Was it scary to take the issue up towards the minister? And
yes,
everybody was going to know that you took the issue to the minister.
Yes. And I'd never been in a minister's office. I had never been a few meters from a minister before. But me being me, I also asked around, you know what, guys, I have this issue. I just don't know what to do. And said, you know what you need to do, you need to go and see the minister. He's the only person who can whip these guys into line. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. So I had to gather the guts, I had to gather the courage. I had to look for the offices, because really before I didn't have any, neither would I think I would ever need to go there. So, and what really interested me was, and I didn't face any hassle to say, what do you want or whatever. I just got there and I said, you know what? I'm a town engineer from this town. I need to see the minister. I have an issue. They said, okay, sit there. And before long, I said, okay, enter. And I'm entering this huge office and I'm like, okay, it's too late to turn back now. I'm there. So I sit down and the man is there, says, okay, what can I do for you? I said, so I told him, you know what? I'm from this town and I'm facing these challenges. I want to do my work, but I'm failing to do the work. I'm not getting the resources, but at the end of the day, they blame me for work that is not done properly, whereas they're not supporting me. And, the guy just said, called his PA, said, take down notes. By next week, I want this lady's problem solved in that town. So I said, thank you, sir. And I left. And next week, it just came, it was just like an avalanche, just whoop on the ministry from the minister's office that, you know what, stop harassing this lady, give her what she wants and make sure she does her work, support her. So, and one or two people had transferred, you're moving there. And I was back at work, things were moving smoothly and I was whistling all the way.
That is so awesome. I love that story.
Were you? It was scary.
Were you scared? So it seems like you were more scared of talking to there's two things. There are many things that are scary in that. One is talking to the ministry and kind of showing up and sharing your issue. And the second one is for the people that are holding you back in your company, when they discover, like I would be worried, like, oh, when they discover that I went to the ministry to tell the ministry what they're doing, they're going to come after me. Like, did you worry about that?
Yes, definitely. That how will I work with them? And you know what? It was really amazing because I didn't even have to worry about that, because that's what I'm saying, that I think, maybe he knew that maybe working with these people would be an issue. So my top bosses, they were removed. They just moved a lower level. So from there on, they just said, you know what? This you don't mess with this lady. It can be quite scary. And I think what holds us back mostly is, you know what, if I go and then my team knows that I have gone to report, how will they take it and how will they work with me after that? But for me, I was, I was between a rock and a hard place, maybe. That's what I have to say. Because, not going, still, I wasn't enjoying my work anymore. And going, there was also that risk that, you know what, they would not accept me like they accepted before. But whether, I wasn't either way. So I had to choose, at least give it a try, give it a shot. But at least maybe, and also maybe at the back of my mind, I was thinking, if it doesn't work out, I can always still go back. To say, it's like this. Yeah, I'm back, but this and this are not really working, and then see what it does. But yeah, it's not easy.
Wow. I love that story. It's just there's the courage to go out there and do what you have to do. I love it. And I love that your mom is the one who originally pushed you to deal with it rather than to quit and look for another job.
Yeah, for me, I was just tired. When you're tired of something, you're like, you know what? But why am I even in this mess? I don't need this. I can move on. I can get plenty more jobs. If people here don't want me to work, there's some other people somewhere where I can work. But it's not always like that. And we need to fix things also for other people who come. Because now I was talking to a gentleman, I think some few months back, and he just reminded me, I haven't seen him in years, and he was around. This was 2003. you know. And when this thing happened, so this year, early this year, we just met up on Facebook, and he was like, Joy, do you remember 2003 when you showed those guys what you were made of? I was like, you remember? So, and he was like, you know what? Even he had some lady friends who were also working for the same municipality. He said, you know what? Those girls really were motivated. They were inspired by what you did. So there are people watching from the shadows. There are people watching from the shadows who are motivated and inspired by what we do without you knowing it. For me, I wasn't doing it to inspire anyone or motivate anyone. I was just tired, of these people not supporting me and blaming me for not performing. So it was more for me. But then I realized that, what I did inspired other girls with it. So you know what? You can actually go out there, seek recourse from people, and they can help you. So at least I said, oh, okay, I didn't know. Imagine all these years, I didn't know that some people had.
And now those are the people that because there might be others as well.
Exactly. So yeah, I was really I was motivated myself from that. Yeah, you can inspire and motivate people by those difficult things that we choose to do.
Yes. And that's why I love that story so much, because hopefully we'll inspire a few more people with it. Oh boy. My last question for you.
Yeah.
How often and have you ever negotiated your compensation?
All the time.
Oh, you do? I love it. High five.
All the time.
Wonderful.
And I think it's more now because as you grow in your profession, you're more confident in what you do and what you have to offer. So you just say, you know what, I can do 1, 2, 3 for you, and I also need 1, 2, 3.
That is very cool. I love that.
Yeah, I remember in the other project, I was working as an assistant resident engineer. And then the resident engineer left. And this thing I was talking about confidence. And being an assistant, I was doing all the job, all the work actually on site. You have to do all the letters to the contractor, you have to do supervision, you have to everything, literally. So when he left, I was like, you know what, but I'm the one doing this job. Why don't I ask my boss that, I want to be the resident engineer, other than, I think there had been two gentlemen who had come. The first one came as resident engineer and he left. And then another one came, and he left. So I was like, but really, why am I not even asking him? So I remember one day I just said, you know what, I'm calling him. So I just picked up the phone. I said, you know what, I want to be the resident engineer. He says, yeah, I'd love it. You're great for the position. And here I was thinking we'd go, we don't think you're ready. You see, we limit ourselves. The limitation is in us. But the people out there, they really see us as being capable. So there was no issue. And then once he said, okay, you can be the resident engineer. Of course, I negotiated. Said, since I'm now resident engineer, I will also need 1, 2, 3. And they gave me. And they gave me what I wanted. And I did the job for them.
That sounds like the perfect exchange. Very reasonable exchange. You were happy. Yeah. They were happy. Win-win.
Win-win.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing all of these inspirational stories as a engineer, as a woman engineer, and today, and hopefully, this will definitely, I'm sure, will inspire or provide examples of how to deal with certain things that cause a lot of women fear, and where they need that courage
Yeah,
I think
I
these
know
stories help
with
build that
women,
courage.
yeah, I think sometimes when you're in a situation, you tend to think you're the only one, or it's just peculiar to you. But someone else has experienced it somewhere else. And, if they've dealt with it, then you can also deal with it. And I'm hoping that because these scenarios that I went through, they always keep repeating. People will be people, men will be men, and they'll do the same thing. So if I managed to go through it and I managed to solve it the way I did, you can also just maybe see how I did it and then take it a notch higher, or panel beat it to suit but the baseline is that you can do it. It can be solved, and you don't have to have people push you out of what you want to do, because you feel now what can I do, I'm helpless, they have the upper hand. No, you can still be there, you can still fight. And it's unfortunate. I'm hoping that maybe with time men will see that women can also do this thing, and they become more accommodative, so that we don't have to fight so much anymore. But for now, yeah, ladies, we need to fight. Maybe later, maybe our children's children. I don't. But for now, the fight is on, and we just need to push. Because if we don't push, it's stagnant. It's like an onion, we're peeling out. So we have to keep peeling, keep peeling, and the next generation peels. And then who knows, maybe, men will become more acceptable of having women on site, because it's still happening now. I have ladies contacting me, mothers contacting me, please talk to my daughter, share your experience with them. They're going through this. And I'm like, in this day and age? You say, yeah. And it's amazing how people can just terrorize a woman on site now, and I'm not talking of back then. Now it's sad. It's really sad. But I'm hoping more and more men will be aware, accommodative, and women can do these things. It's not just about men being the ones who can only do technical work. Women can do that, and it's high time they accepted that, and just started giving us more space to do what we can do.
Oh, we can do it very well. No,
yeah.
This is not about, lifting rocks into
exactly
anymore.
It's not. Where they can say, what, you're weak, you can't lift. No, there's technology. I don't have to be lifting anything. It's about
you're commanding the machines that are lifting the things that need to be lifted. So, oh boy, it's crazy. But hopefully like you said, the fight is a huge fight. Sometimes the first time around, it feels like a terrible fight. It feels like mission impossible. But over time, as we learn how to deal with the situation, the fight, it doesn't seem as difficult anymore. It becomes more of a standard procedure.
Exactly. Initiation.
Exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your experience today, and I look forward to
inviting me.
Hearing more from you.
Thank you. I'll be happy anytime. I'll be happy to share, happy to motivate and inspire someone out there. Yeah, I'm here.
It's been an absolute honor to serve you today, and remind you that you can check out the show notes for this episode on my blog at assertiveway.com/blog. And do you want to go deeper on how you can speak your mind with confidence at work, unapologetically? Then go watch one of my several free trainings at assertiveway.com/free. Because in those trainings, you're going to learn the skills that you need to speak up with confidence and without being rude. Like how to say no, how to express your ideas in meetings, how to express how you feel, how to ask for what you want, ask for that promotion that's due, deal with difficult people, difficult conversations, handle criticism, give thoughtful, constructive criticism to your team members or others, to self-promote without bragging, and much, much more. So these are the kind of skills that your parents, your teachers, your bosses may not have taught you, but that are going to make all the difference in the world in your career, in your relationships, and in your happiness. Trust me. So thank you once more, and go ahead and enjoy the day. Have a delightful, wonderful week.